Memory. It's the key to our identity.
Without memory, we're nothing.
It's who we are.
Memory hackers. Right now.
This video is shamelessly styled after Ben Shapiro's video, Why Jews Vote Leftist, and I have that video linked down below for reference. And the vast majority of what Shapiro says about Jews holds true for Catholics. In 2008, most Catholics in the United States voted for Barack Obama, even though as a candidate Obama openly ran on a pro-abortion platform. Even though in 2003, when Obama was still an Illinois state senator, he opposed the bill that would have mandated health care for a baby who survives an abortion. The Catholic Church, of course, opposes infanticide. This is even though prior to the election in 2008, he said he would sign a bill that would have forced Catholic hospitals to perform abortions. But Catholics turned out in droves for him. Supposedly Catholic Stephen Colbert shilled for him on a nightly basis, making it seem that it was okay for Catholics to vote for Obama. Reinforcing this, Jesuit Catholic priest, Father James Martin, created scandal and appeared on the show and called himself the chaplain of the Colbert Report. American Catholics voted 54% for Obama in 2008. And after he was elected, Obama quickly proceeded to overturn the Mexico City policy that had denied federal funding of organizations that intentionally performed and promote abortions. And when he spoke at Georgetown University in 2009, his staff insisted that all religious symbols in the room where he was going to speak had to be covered up. After all of that, more American Catholics voted for Obama in 2012 than his opponent. In the most recent election, 48% of Catholics voted for Hillary Clinton, who may have been even worse than Obama, and only 45% voted for Trump. The question is, why do Catholics consistently vote for anti-Catholic politicians? And the answer is simple. The vast majority of people who identify as Catholics nowadays don't really care about Catholicism. They care more about everything else except Catholicism. Their values are whatever is spoon-fed to them by television. And watching Dancing with the Stars is more important than assisting at Mass. The polls show this. According to a Pew survey, 73% of Catholics primarily rely on their conscience when making moral decisions. This is a decidedly Protestant approach, especially when an individual doesn't really have a properly formed conscience. Only 21% of Catholics primarily rely on church teachings. In 1965, there were 4.43 million children in Catholic elementary schools. And it seems that parents today don't really think that's very important because that figure has decreased to 1.36 million as of 2014. That's a decrease of 69%. In 1964, there were over 354,000 marriages performed in Catholic churches. But in 2013, there were only 154,000 marriages performed in Catholic churches, and that's a decrease of 56%. In 1958, 74% of Catholics assisted at Mass on a weekly basis. That figure dropped to 24% by 2014. And according to a 2012 Gallup poll, 39% of Catholics seldom or never attend Mass. Catholic voting trends shouldn't be a surprise because most people who identify as Catholics aren't religious. They just identify as Catholic because it's associated with their ethnicity or maybe their family history. They have nothing to do with Catholic beliefs, and they don't want anything to do with it. They have no concerns about church dogma or what it is or what it isn't. They don't care what is a sin or isn't a sin in the eyes of the church. They don't care about church councils, encyclicals, or tradition. When polling organizations poll Catholics, the results of the organizations are skewed because they include lapsed Catholics, and most people who identify as being Catholics aren't lapsed Catholics. They were never catechized in the first place, so they really don't even know what Catholicism is. There is no moral relativism in the Bible. It opposes abortion and opposes same-sex marriage. There is no belief in it of some great socialized welfare system. However, private charity is called for. The Bible tells us that Catholics have a responsibility to live ethically and according to a set of specific behavioral guidelines. And these are set out for us in the Catechism of Trent, but how many Catholics have ever read the Catechism of Trent or even heard of it? Now, there may be some older Catholics who vote leftist because they remember a good time when the Democratic Party stood up for unions and didn't oppose Catholic values. And they don't really seem to appreciate that things have changed rather dramatically. Both parties are firmly aligned with Wall Street and banking interests. And by and large, most Catholics vote leftist because they want to be modern, or they are somewhat agnostic and they believe that religion creates division and causes all war. Though they identify as being Catholic, they believe that Catholicism is intolerant and vicious, and that traditional Catholicism is more than passé. Of course, that wasn't always the case. The decline that we've been talking about in the polls, that's only been since the Second Vatican Council. And I submit to you that the Second Vatican Council caused all these declines. Catholics turned away from the church when the council seemed to teach that truth can change. So to paraphrase Ben Shapiro, Catholics who actually care about actual Catholicism don't vote for anti-Catholic politicians. And those who cherish modernism and moral relativism don't really practice Catholicism. And I'm not going to end this video on that same pessimistic note as Ben Shapiro, because unless we're heading straight into the end of days, there will be a rebirth of the Catholic Church. And there will be a rebirth of authentic Catholicism. We live in a unique age because we really can't expect our bishops or Pope Francis to bring any of that about. It's really up to us, the laity. It's up to you and me to reach out to our friends and families and relatives who are lapsed Catholics or are in the Novus Ordo Church, and we need to help bring them the truth of authentic Catholicism. And unlike Ben Shapiro, I'm not encouraging anyone to become a Republican. Republicans seem as eager to betray Catholics as the Democrats. Politics will never bring peace to the country or to the planet. There will only be peace when the world embraces Catholicism. Put not your trust in princes. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll be back again in about a day or so with another one. But in the meantime, please check out my Facebook page, which is linked down below, and please pray for the church.